Hi, I'm Raymond with Three Dudes Quilting in Phoenix, and we're proud to have our friend Nedra Sorensen here from Triangles on a Roll today. And she's going to show you something really unique with flying geese. When I first started quilting, I bought a quilt kit that I thought would be really, really cool. Unbeknownst to me, every single block was a flying goose. And when you don't know what you're doing, it was not very easy. This makes it easy. So Flying Geese the Easy Way from Triangles on a Roll.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. I really like flying geese now, where I can say like Ray before, if I had to make rows of flying geese together, I just wouldn't do it. I would say, no, sorry, that's too much work. Now, this is a no-waste method that makes it easy to make flying geese, where you can have them matching up all their points, perfect quarter-inch seams, just makes it fun to make them now. It's also a no-waste method. So all of our products come on 50-foot rolls. And you have a sticker on the outside. All of the instructions are on the outside. You also have instructions inside on the paper. So if you don't remember one thing I say today, it's okay. You can always refer back to your paper and look inside the paper, on the paper also. The first thing I like to do when I get a roll of Triangles on a Roll, when I unwrap it, is I take those instructions and I stick them inside the tube. That way, when I want to refer back and say, what size am I working with, what's on that roll, I have everything I need right inside the tube. So I just stick them right in there. Like I say, they come on 50-foot rolls. A lot of people ask me, well, how many flying geese does that make? I can tell you I haven't counted. I just know how many feet or how many inches I'm working with for my project. So the first thing you want to do is decide how many flying geese you want in your row. If you're just going to make one flying geese or two, this probably isn't the technique for you. But if you want to do several together, this really is the easiest and the fastest way, in my opinion. For example, I want to show you these projects here. These are both made with flying geese. On this one, the row goes this way. On this one, the row goes this way. But you can see when the rows go this way, they match up perfectly. All your points match up perfectly. That's because it's on paper that holds them perfectly in place. I hardly had to use pins to put these two rows together. They just matched up so nicely on the paper. It holds all of your bias edges together, makes them so easy to use. So first you'll say, how many flying geese do I need? We have patterns available through Triangles on a Roll that you can also get here at Three Dudes that will tell you how many you need for that project. But say you just want to make it for something fun, like a table mat or a quilt that you're making a border. So you'll cut off the length that you want. And the first thing that I do when I'm getting ready to work with it is I will roll up one end and I will paper clip it. And so I just have a section about this big to work at my machine. The first thing you want to do is to place a triangle in between the red lines. Now, on this paper, you can either make flying geese or you can make braid. And I'm just going to be showing you how you make the flying geese. So you work with the red lines and you ignore the other black lines that are on there. And you'll also work with the blue. So you'll lay that first geese in between on the blue triangle. And the first thing, each paper will tell you the size to cut your large geese and your small geese. Usually you'll start out with a square and it'll tell you how wide to cut that square, how big. And then you'll cut for the large geese, you'll cut it from corner to corner. That'll give you your large triangles. And then for the small geese, which I call the sky, it will tell you the size to cut your small geese and your small square, and you'll cut it from one corner to the other to get your small geese. So you'll lay your first large triangle in that blue right there and pin it down. Or you can take a little glue stick, a little dab of glue. You can glue it down also if you don't like to use a pin. The next step is to lay your small geese, and each paper has a little notch right there on the end, and it has a little notch right here. And you'll just lay right sides together on that notch. You'll lower your stitch to about a 1.5. Normally when you turn your machine on, it's about a 2. You'll just want to turn your stitch down so they're closer together. That will perforate the paper, make it easier to tear off when you're done, and it'll kind of secure that seam so when you do tear your paper off, it's a tighter stitch. You'll lay it down, and it gives you a little prompt of where to start and where to end, and you just sew a 1/4 inch seam along that right side. This is called a sew and fold method. So you'll just sew, you'll fold it over, and press it over with your iron. That's step 1. When you're getting ready to do the other side, once you've done the right side and you're ready to sew the left side on, you do the same process. So you'll take your small geese and you'll just lay it within, there's a notch right here and a notch right here that you'll be able to see to lay your geese on. You'll just follow the line right there, and you'll even have a little prompt right here that starts where you can start your stitching, and you stitch your 1/4 inch, and you just sew and fold like that. Now notice there's a little gap here. I haven't gone all the way to that black line. It's okay, because this is a very forgiving technique. I intentionally actually sewed, if you're like me, sometimes you don't sew a perfect 1/4 inch seam. And so I sewed a little bit bigger of a seam, so when I folded that over, it didn't come all the way up to that line. It's okay, it's very forgiving. It will correct itself in the seam allowance when you sew your next geese, when you start your next geese. So you'll simply lay your next piece down, and you've got a little notch there and a notch there, and you'll simply lay your geese down right within that notch, and then you have a prompt right here of where to start your 1/4 inch seam and where to come off. You'll notice that it's right there at that intersection there and that intersection there where those two fabrics meet. And you'll simply stitch across there like I've done here. Now, when you lay that down, notice you're not following the fabric line, you're using your paper as the foundation, and lay your fabric down within the paper lines. Sew your 1/4 inch seam sew up, and when you do that, then you have a perfect point right there. You don't lose your points. So to lay the next one down, you can see a little notch right there and a notch right there. To lay the next one down, right sides together, right within that notch. You can see your prompt line. Notice how it goes right where those two fabrics intersect, and it also goes here where those two fabrics intersect. You just sew your 1/4 inch seam, and you sew and fold. And you just keep repeating that process with your geese. When you get to the end, you simply turn your paper over and trim to those, you can do this one from the front actually. You just trim to your geese. So it will make them perfect and accurate with perfect 1/4 inch seams. Another thing I wanted to mention to you, I've made a little sample here of the different sizes that we have for flying geese and braid. Each roll will make either a flying geese or a braid depending on the size. So, for example, we can make a 1x2 flying geese that'll also make a 3.25 braid. And then it goes up, we have 2x4 flying geese that makes a 6-inch braid, goes all the way up to, you can make a 3x6 flying geese here that you can also make an 8-inch braid on the same paper. So we do have the different sizes available that you can get from Triangles on a Roll or here at 3 Dudes.
Thank you, Nedra. I may actually be willing to do flying geese now. Thank you for your help. I love it.